You see, Mike and my father went way back. They'd been friends since they were kids and grew up together. They served in the Army together when they graduated high school and remained close friends until my father passed away a few years ago. Growing up, Mike was almost like a second father and was there for me after I lost my father and still keeps in touch to this day. Mike was a pretty normal guy, but there was one thing that stood out about him. He worked for the government. At least, that's what my dad told me. Ever since I was a young child, he just kept it very vague and said that he wasn't really able to talk about what he did, and I wasn't allowed to ask him about it. It wasn't until I was a teenager that I found out who he truly worked for: the CIA. You see, not everyone that works for the CIA are men dressed in black with dark glasses. The CIA has assets everywhere. School teachers, celebrities, factory workers, you name it. I'd be willing to bet that every time you leave your house, you've come in contact with at least one person directly employed by the CIA or loosely affiliated with them. I was so determined to get to the bottom of this fluoride mess I've stumbled onto, and I figured since he was now retired, maybe he would be willing to open up a bit more, especially after we had a few beers at his party. Later that week at his party, after most of the people had left, he came up to me and was asking me how I'd been. This is the perfect chance to bring it up to him, I thought. After a bit of small talk, I decided to ask him about it. He started to say, "Well, it's to prevent tooth decay. You should know that." But then I looked at him and said, "Come on, don't BS me. I've read the studies. What's really going on here?" Suddenly, his face changed, and he said, "Come on, let's go up to my office." After we went into his office, he locked the door behind him and told me to have a seat. What he was about to tell me would alter the course of my life forever and will change yours as well. What makes you think I know anything about fluoride in the water? Just because I worked for the CIA doesn't mean I know everything. We're highly compartmentalized, you know. Please, Uncle Mike, I just want to know the truth. He still didn't say anything, and I felt pissed off. I could tell by the look on his face that he was not telling me everything he knew. I said, "Never mind, I shouldn't have asked," and got up to go to the door, when he said, "Wait, sit back down. Let me see your cell phone." I handed it over, and he pulled out some kind of metal box from his desk and put it inside. "What's that?" I said. "It's a Faraday cage. It prevents any wireless signals from entering or leaving this box. You never know who may be listening." Then he asked me directly, "Are you sure you can handle the truth?" I said yes. "I want to know why we're adding this stuff to our water, if the Nazi Party was adding it to the water in the Jewish prison camps. Were they trying to make them docile and not resist? Were they trying to poison them?" "No," he said. "They were trying to destroy their pineal gland." He wanted to make them totally helpless and crush them mentally, physically, and spiritually. Hitler understood that by shutting down the pineal gland, you would be cutting off their ability to connect to the universe, as well as making them docile slaves. Hitler knew from the stuff he found studying ancient mysticism that the pineal gland was indeed what allowed individuals to manifest thoughts, wishes, hopes into reality, and was responsible for accessing higher spiritual realms of existence. "That sounds crazy," I said. "Well, let me explain. You see, during the war, Hitler did anything he could to gain the edge over the Allies. He was obsessed with the occult, as well as other esoteric practices, and thought that they may hold the key to winning the war. After all, how else could a small country like Germany manage to defeat the American, British, and French empires without having a secret weapon of sorts? He had teams of scientists studying hieroglyphics, cuneiform tablets, and ancient scrolls, searching for hidden knowledge that may give him the power to turn the tides of the war in his favor. Hitler was very aware of mystic knowledge and the third eye. Then he asked me if I knew when the war ended. I said 1945. "That's right," he said. "Did you know when they started to add fluoride to the water for the first time in the United States?" I'm not sure, actually." 1945, right after the war ended. "They first tested adding it in Grand Rapids, Michigan," he said. "They got the idea from Hitler." This sent shivers down my spine. You see, after the war ended, 1,600 scientists, engineers, and other technicians were taken to the U.S. to be employed by the U.S. government in what was known as Operation Paperclip. Not only were we able to get incredible geniuses to come work for us, like Wernher von Braun, the father of modern rocketry who helped found NASA, but we also got access to a lot of the research that Hitler had compiled about ancient civilizations, mysticism, manifestation, and the occult. This is when we figured out the true reason behind why he was adding fluoride to the water in the internment camps. You have to understand, the CIA's purpose is not to safeguard us from foreign adversaries, but it's to protect the government from us. You know this is true because of whistleblowers like Edward Snowden, who proved that the U.S. government is actively spying on its citizens. And then there are illegal programs like MK-Ultra from the CIA, where they use psychedelic drugs on unsuspecting citizens, along with psychological torture techniques in order to achieve mind control. They're trying to prevent you from having spiritually enhanced abilities and enlightenment, because they want to maintain control. The government needs you to depend on them. A dumbed-down, spiritually broken population is much easier to control, and corrupting the pineal gland with fluoride was the perfect way to do it, as Hitler had figured out. You see, fluoride is attracted to the pineal gland like a magnet is attracted to iron. Over time, it calcifies your pineal gland and inhibits your ability to use your third eye. Think about it. If you had the ability to heal your body without the aid of expensive pharmaceutical drugs, manifest wealth and opportunities, happiness, love, and understanding, what need would you have for the government? He went on to talk more about this mysterious pineal gland. The agency continued its research into what they discovered from the Nazi Party, and also into the pineal gland. When they discovered the true potential of activating your pineal gland and fully opening your third eye, this spawned other projects, like the Stargate Project. With the Stargate Project, which started in the 1970s, they were exploring the potential of fully opening your third eye in order to use psychic abilities against the enemy during warfare. To the astonishment of everyone, people that had their third eye opened gained psychic abilities that allowed them to fully describe enemy remote locations they have never seen before, even in foreign countries. While they declassified this program later on in the 90s and claimed that it had not been successful, I can assure you that is not the case. He went on to say, "We still use psychic spies to this day, and police departments around the world will consult with psychics in order to help solve crimes or find missing persons. I know this because my friend at the agency worked in the program." The people they recruited to the program went through a strict detoxification process to cleanse their pineal gland. One day, while we were having a few drinks at the bar, he was talking about the program and mentioned what these people were actually taking to purify their pineal gland and open their third eye. I decided to write down the ingredients on a napkin and was planning on researching them a bit more when I had some time. He opened up a desk drawer, pulled out the napkin, and showed it to me. "Here," he said. "You see, I'm not making it up. I don't understand. All this time when I was going to school and giving my patients fluoride, you didn't say a word to me." "Listen, it wouldn't have mattered," he murmured. "This stuff isn't just in our water. It's in the air we breathe, the food we eat. It's not the only thing out there attacking your pineal gland anyway. Besides, I figured the less you knew about the way the world really worked, the better. Ignorance is bliss, after all. Anyways, it's getting pretty late. I've already said way more than I should have." He took my phone out of the Faraday cage box and handed it back to me. Before I left, he said, "Wait a sec," and took the napkin that contained the ingredients they used to cleanse the pineal gland and put it in my pocket. "Here, I want you to have this. Maybe you can do some good with it. It's not helping anyone staying locked away in some old man's desk drawer." I wished him a happy birthday again, and then headed back home. The next few months, I spent following up on the things that my Uncle Mike had told me, and every single thing he said about these government programs appeared to be true. MK-Ultra, the date when they first started using fluoride, the Stargate Project, everything was true.